Now we're going to talk about our third example, which is using filters in Python to get a record set to run code on. Now there are many times this would be useful. We could be looking at all the sales tied to a customer and want to add them all up. We may be looking at how many sales we have for a product or how many invoices we have for a customer. There are so many things that we could use this for. And so it's important to understand how to use the search functionality in tandem with our filter. The search function on its own is super powerful, but it can be kind of difficult to create our filter for the search function. This is where all the practice we put into developing filters in the list view comes in handy. So let's go ahead and get into an example so you can see how this works. So we're back in our little demo database and we want to make sure we're in developer mode. And then let's go into sales and create ourselves a filter. Let's get rid of my quotations and let's make an unnecessarily complicated filter here. So we're going to say salesperson is in this list of salespeople. So it's either Mitchell admin or Mark demo. Or we could say customer could also be Abigail Peterson, Azure Interior, or our good friends at Deco Addict here. So we've applied this filter. We have 64 records. Go ahead and remember that. Now we want to take this and throw it into a piece of code. In demo databases, they don't let us do scheduled actions, so we're going to do this with a server action, and we're going to show how many records we got. So let's go ahead and duplicate this tab. We're going to go out to the main menu, go to server actions. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to call this test filter. We're going to execute some code, and we're going to execute it on our model here, sale.order, which we're going to copy. Drop this into model. Okay, and let's go ahead and save for a second. Now we're going to create some code. So the first thing we're going to do is create a variable called filter records. We're going to do env, open square bracket, drop it in the same model. So we need to make sure the model from the URL is right here. And we're going to say dot search, open parentheses, and then we want to come over here, click the cog, grab our code, and drop that right in there real quick. So we've got our records. Now we need to go ahead and count those records. Thankfully, Python has a nice little function for that, and we can raise a user error with that number once we have it. So let's go in here and we're going to say raise user error, which is going to raise an error for us. And we're going to say len, and we're going to grab our variable here and get filter records. And that's going to give us the number of records that we grabbed with our filter. Now all we have to do is create a contextual action. We're going to come back over here, save our current search as quotations so that we don't have to rebuild it. We're going to refresh the screen so that we get our action here. Go back over, go to quotations. We've still only got 64 records. We're going to click the checkbox right here and go to actions, test filter. And you can see that we have 64 records from our little search right here. So we were successful, and it really wasn't that hard for us to get the filter so that we could get that record set. I'm going to leave it up to your imagination what you do with that record set, but there's so many things that you could do. You could create a calculated field that says here's the sum of all the sales that this customer has had. You could go in and you could have a scheduled action that runs every night on certain records. There's so much you could do with this. It's a super powerful tool, so go ahead and practice it, get good at it, and good luck.